What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Beyond the Box score. We've got another exciting night of NHL action on deck, and I've got two games you'll want to keep an eye on. We're breaking down the numbers, the trends, and the edge you need before placing your bets. So grab your notes, because we're diving into tonight's matchups. Let's get right into it. The New York Islanders roll into Philadelphia carrying a wave of confidence. 4 straight wins and a renewed sense of rhythm, as they prepare to face a Flyers squad still searching for consistency in the early stages of the 2025-26 season. The Islanders, sitting at 4-3-0, have recovered nicely from a shaky start and now find themselves in the middle of the Metropolitan Division standings. The Flyers, meanwhile, at 3-3-1, hover just below .500 as they close out a home-heavy October. Neither team currently sits in the division's top 3. Those spots belong to New Jersey, Carolina, and Pittsburgh, but with the razor-thin margins that define the Metro, a single win could send either team vaulting up the table. This game shapes up as a battle of momentum versus opportunity. The Islanders bring in an offense brimming with confidence, while Philadelphia looks to tighten a defense that's been unpredictable lately. Goaltending could be the biggest storyline of the night. New York continues to rely on Ilya Sorokin, who has posted a 3.90 goals against average and an .873 save percentage through 5 games. Backup David Rittich, though used sparingly, has been far sharper, boasting a 2.01 GAA and .939 SV%, making him a legitimate candidate for the start if the coaching staff wants to give Sorokin a breather. On the Flyers' end, Dan Vladar has been one of the bright spots, holding a 3-2 record with an impressive 1.81 GAA and .932 SV%, while Sam Ersson 3.88 GAA, .849 SV%, has struggled to provide the same level of steadiness. The statistical advantage in net favors Philadelphia, but the Islanders' depth between the pipes could prove crucial if this game becomes a back-and-forth, high-shot affair. Offensively, New York's resurgence has been driven by Captain Bo Horvat, who enters the matchup with 9 points, 5 goals and 4 assists, and a +4 rating. His chemistry with Anders Lee, who's dished out 5 assists, has anchored a forward group finally clicking the way coach Patrick Waugh envisioned. The Flyers' counterpunch is led by veteran Sean Couturier, who's tallied 8 points, 2 goals, 6 assists, and Owen Tippett, who's already netted 5 goals. Couturier remains Philadelphia's cerebral heartbeat, strong in the face-off circle, dependable defensively, and a power play threat, while Tippett's skating and shot make him the team's top-scoring weapon. The Islanders average 3.86 goals per game compared to the Flyers' 2.71, suggesting that if this turns into an up-tempo, offensive battle, New York might have the upper hand. Momentum heavily leans toward the Islanders. They've won 4 of their last 5, including a 7-2 demolition of Detroit and strong road wins over Ottawa and Edmonton. Their offense has come alive, averaging 30.4 shots per game over that stretch. The Flyers, on the other hand, have alternated wins and losses, dropping a tight 2-1 contest to Ottawa most recently. While their defensive structure has improved, allowing only 2.57 goals per game, their inconsistent scoring and modest 13.6% power play have limited their results. New York's power play is clicking at 20%, which could be a deciding factor against a Flyers penalty kill operating at an impressive 86.2%. Injuries might also play a role. The Islanders are without defenseman Alexander Romanov, expected back October 28, and goaltender Semyon Varlamov out until November 2, forcing Sorokin into heavier duty. Forward Maxim Shabanov could return soon, bolstering the bottom 6. Philadelphia's blue line remains stretched thin, with Ethan Samson, Oliver Bonk, and Rasmus Ristolainen all sidelined. That lack of defensive depth could prove costly against New York's aggressive forecheck. In the Metro standings, New Jersey leads with 14 points, Carolina and Pittsburgh sit at 12 each, the Islanders hold 5th with 8, and the Flyers trail slightly with 7. Every point matters in this race, even in October, as early separation can define spring playoff chases. Key factors here are Horvat's offensive surge and the Flyers' ability to contain him despite their defensive injuries. For Philadelphia, Vladar's continued brilliance in goal and Couturier's two-way play are essential. Ultimately, special teams and goaltending will dictate the outcome. The Flyers' injuries and inconsistent offense tilt the edge toward New York, whose balanced depth and hot form suggest a narrow 4-2 win. Still, if Vladar stands tall early, Philadelphia could grind out a low-scoring upset. After analyzing both sides, my pick for this matchup is the New York Islanders to win. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments. Over in the Atlantic Division, the Buffalo Sabres and Toronto Maple Leafs square off in what promises to be a spirited showdown at Scotiabank Arena on Saturday, October 25, 2025. The Maple Leafs, 3-3-1, are desperate to regain momentum after consecutive losses, while the Sabres, 3-4-0, come in energized after a solid home win over Detroit. Both teams are tightly packed in the standings. Toronto currently fourth with 7 points, Buffalo close behind with 8, making this an important early season tone setter. Toronto's storyline centers on its star power and shaky defensive play. William Nylander has been red hot with 13 points, 2 goals, 11 assists in 7 games, while captain John Tavares has chipped in 4 goals. Their top line has done most of the heavy lifting, but depth scoring has been thin, especially with key defensemen Morgan Rielly and Chris Tanev out. Buffalo counters with Jack Quinn, who leads with 6 points, 3 goals, 3 assists, supported by veterans Jason Zucker and Zach Benson providing balance in the lineup. Despite being winless on the road, the Sabres showed cohesion and poise in their 4-2 win over Detroit, particularly on special teams. Between the pipes, the Sabres hold a clear edge. Alex Leone has been quietly outstanding with a 2.40 record, a 2.55 GAA, and 8.924 SV%, staying composed even while facing over 32 shots per game. Rookie Callie Ellis, 1.00, 2.00 GAA, 0.931 SV%, has impressed in limited action. The Leafs' goaltending has been far shakier. Anthony Stolarz, 2.31, 3.01 GAA, 0.894 SV%, has been inconsistent, while backup Caden Primo, 1.04, 4.00 GAA, 0.867 SV%, has struggled in relief. Toronto's defense has allowed 3.43 goals per game compared to Buffalo's 2.71, making the goaltending advantage one of Buffalo's biggest weapons. Offensively, Toronto still packs more firepower, averaging 3.43 goals per game and 29.0 shots, but its power play has been underwhelming at 12.5%. Buffalo's attack sits at 2.71 goals per game but compensates with an elite penalty kill operating at 96.2%. With Josh Norris still out until mid-December, Quinn and Zucker have shouldered the load, with Zucker scoring 4 times, including 2 on the man advantage. Recent form slightly favors Buffalo. The Sabres have won 3 of their last 5, including shutouts over Florida and statement wins against Ottawa and Detroit. Toronto, meanwhile, has dropped back-to-back games to New Jersey, 5-2, and Seattle, 4-3 OT, after a promising 3-game win streak. Defensive lapses late in games have hurt them badly. Injuries on the blue line haven't helped either, with Rielly and Tanev's absences forcing younger players into tougher minutes. Buffalo isn't fully healthy either. Michael Kessler and Jordan Greenway remain out, but their defensive structure has held stronger. A Buffalo win would push them past Toronto in the standings, while a Leafs victory would steady their footing at home, 3-2-1 at Scotiabank. This matchup likely comes down to execution on special teams and goaltending. If Leone continues his strong form and Buffalo's penalty kill stays perfect, they can frustrate Toronto's offense. But if Nylander and Tavares find gaps and Stolarz cleans up rebounds, the Leafs could swing it. Expect a close, physical battle. Prediction: Buffalo 3, Toronto 2 in overtime, with Alex Leone making over 30 saves and Jason Zucker netting the winner. Edge: Buffalo 55%, Toronto 45%. After breaking it all down, my pick for this one is the Buffalo Sabres to win. Drop your predictions in the comments. Finally, we head to Detroit where the St. Louis Blues 3-3-1 meet the Detroit Red Wings 5-3-0 at Little Caesars Arena, two teams trending in opposite directions. The Blues are battling inconsistency, while Detroit is riding confidence and form at home. Jordan Binnington 2-1-0, 2.75 GAA, .885 SV%, will likely start for St. Louis, needing a bounce-back game after recent ups and downs. His backup, Joel Hofer .789 SV%, has struggled, leaving the pressure squarely on Binnington. For Detroit, Cam Talbot 3-1-0, 2.96 GAA, .890 SV%, continues to provide veteran poise, while John Gibson 2-2-0, 3.31 GAA, .872 SV%, adds capable depth. The offensive storylines are clear. Dylan Larkin leads Detroit's attack with 13 points, 6 goals, 7 assists, and 26 shots, setting the tone with pace and leadership. The Blues lean on Jake Neighbors, who's been a bright spot with 5 points, 4 goals, 1 assist, while Pavel Buchnevich has chipped in 4 assists. St. Louis's power play is running at 20.0%, but inconsistency remains an issue. Recent form highlights the contrast. The Blues have dropped 2 of their last 3, including a 7-4 collapse against Utah, while Detroit is dominant at home, 4-1-0. The Red Wings' ability to dictate pace and maintain puck pressure has been key to their 3.00 goals per game average, while the Blues' defensive lapses have led to a 3.86 goals against mark. Injuries slightly affect both sides. St. Louis remains without Alexei Toropchenko and Milan Lucic day-to-day, with Zach Dean on IR until early November. Detroit expects Patrick Kane and Shane Buium back soon, meaning the Red Wings could be near full strength. With Larkin driving the offense and Detroit's defense steadying under pressure, the matchup leans their way. The stakes are meaningful. The Blues sit at 7 points, trying to stay afloat in the Central, while Detroit, with 10 points, could close in on division-leading Montreal. For St. Louis, this is a must-win to avoid sliding further behind teams like Colorado and Winnipeg. The X factors are clear: Binnington's composure for the Blues and depth scoring for Detroit. Expect Detroit's home form and Larkin's leadership to carry the night. Prediction: Red Wings 4, Blues 2. Detroit's balanced attack and penalty kill, 90.5%, prove too much. After analyzing both sides, my pick for this matchup is the Detroit Red Wings to win. Drop your thoughts and predictions below. Out west, the Montreal Canadiens 6-3-0 head to Rogers Arena to face the Vancouver Canucks 4-4-0 in a cross-conference battle between two teams with something to prove. Montreal sits atop the Atlantic with 12 points, while Vancouver holds 5th in the Pacific, looking to find rhythm again after an up-and-down stretch. In goal, Montreal has leaned on Samuel Montembeault 3-0-0, 3.82 GAA, .842 SV%, with rookie Jakob Dobes 1.47 GAA, .950 SV%, impressing in limited action. They'll be up against Thatcher Demko, who's been stellar with a 2.24 GAA and .927 SV%, keeping Vancouver competitive even when offense sputters. Montreal's offense has been firing, averaging 3.56 goals per game, led by captain Nick Suzuki, 12 points, 1 goal, 11 assists, and Cole Caulfield, 7 goals. The duo drives a power play converting at 18.5%. Vancouver's attack, averaging 2.63 goals per game, has been led by Connor Garland, 7 points, and Kiefer Sherwood, 4 goals, though inconsistency remains a concern. Montreal is 3-2 in its last 5, while Vancouver has dropped 2 straight after a 3-game win streak. The Canucks' penalty kill sits at 77.4%, a potential weakness against Montreal's quick puck movement. Injuries play a role too. Montreal awaits the return of Patrick Lane and David Reinbacher, while Vancouver remains without Jonathan Lekkerimäki, Derek Forbort, and Nils Höglander until December. In a tightly contested Pacific, every point counts, and with Montreal trying to hold off Detroit in the Atlantic, both teams have motivation to bring intensity. Expect a fast, physical game where goaltending is key. Demko can steal it if he's sharp, but Montreal's depth and structure give them the edge. Prediction: Canadiens 4, Canucks 2. Montreal's balanced scoring continues their early season surge. My pick for this one is the Montreal Canadiens to win. The Boston Bruins return to TD Garden in desperation mode, hoping to stop a brutal 6-game skid as they face the red-hot Colorado Avalanche in an interconference clash. Few matchups could show a starker contrast. Colorado, sitting atop the Central Division at 5-0-3 with elite consistency, and Boston, stumbling at 3-6-0 with just 6 points, struggling through defensive breakdowns and shaky goaltending. It's their second meeting in a week after the Avalanche comfortably took down the Bruins 4-1 in Denver. For Boston, it's about rediscovering who they are. For Colorado, it's about proving their dominance isn't a fluke. Goaltending is once again under the microscope. The Avalanche are rolling with veteran backup Scott Wedgwood, who's been quietly reliable at .200 with a 2.33 goals against average and 8.910 save percentage. With starter Mackenzie Blackwood sidelined until later this week, Wedgwood's steadiness is vital. Behind him, prospect Trent Miner impressed in his lone appearance, keeping the Avalanche confident in their depth. For Boston, the crease has turned into a source of concern. Jeremy Swayman, sitting at 2-3 with a 3.02 GAA and .930 save percentage, hasn't found rhythm behind a leaky defense, while Joonas Korpisalo's struggles continue, 1-3 with a 4.03 GAA and an .845 save percentage. If Boston can't stabilize defensively, their losing streak could easily stretch to 7. Colorado's disciplined forecheck and balanced attack make them especially dangerous against teams prone to turnovers and rebounds. Offensively, both teams have their stars shining. Martin Necas has been the engine for Colorado, leading the team with 12 points on 6 goals and 6 assists, plus a stellar +8 rating. His chemistry on the second line has made Colorado lethal beyond just their top unit. For Boston, David Pastrnak remains the heartbeat of their offense with 12 points, 5 goals and 7 assists, generating chances every night, averaging nearly 4 shots per game. Yet the lack of support around him has left the Bruins overly dependent on his brilliance. When Pastrnak doesn't score, Boston rarely wins. Form and momentum clearly favor the Avalanche. Over their last 5 games, Colorado has gone 3-0-2, picking up wins against Buffalo, Columbus, and Boston before narrow overtime losses to Utah and Carolina. They've shown elite balance, averaging 3.50 goals per game while allowing just 2.13, controlling tempo through precision passing and smart puck possession. The Bruins, by contrast, have collapsed defensively, dropping 6 straight while surrendering 31 goals in that stretch. A 7-5 loss to Anaheim and a 6-5 defeat to Vegas exposed major cracks in their structure, and their penalty kill, once elite, has dipped to 86.1%. Even with a power play clicking at 21.9%, their inability to protect leads has undone their progress. Injuries add another subplot. Colorado remains without Logan O'Connor, Joel Kiviranta, and defensemen Samuel Girard and Ronnie Attard, yet their young depth players have stepped up seamlessly. Boston's situation is more dire. Without Hampus Lindholm until October 25 and Jordan Harris on IR through October 30, their defensive core has been stretched thin. Without Lindholm's puck-moving ability and shutdown presence, Boston's defensive zone coverage has faltered, leading to extended shifts and costly turnovers. In the standings, Colorado sits comfortably atop the Central Division, a point clear of Winnipeg and Utah, while Boston is in danger of sliding out of the Atlantic race entirely, already trailing Montreal and Detroit by at least 4 points. A home win could stop the bleeding and restore confidence, but another loss might ignite early roster shakeups. The deciding factors are transition speed and discipline. Colorado's penalty kill sits at a sharp 87%, and with 5 players already having at least 5 points, they remain unpredictable and dangerous. Boston, meanwhile, needs steady goaltending and a multi-point effort from Pastrnak to even have a chance. If they can control the physical battle and tighten their slot coverage, they might force a grind-it-out, low-scoring affair. But based on form, structure, and confidence, Colorado has the upper hand. Expect the Avalanche to capitalize on Boston's defensive lapses and extend their point streak. Even with the TD Garden crowd behind them, the Bruins may not have enough depth to hang on late. Final score prediction: Avalanche 4, Bruins 2. Colorado stays undefeated in regulation, while Boston's skid reaches 7 straight losses at home. After analyzing both sides, my pick for this matchup is the Colorado Avalanche. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. The Vegas Golden Knights roll into Sunrise carrying a 4-game win streak and all the confidence in the world as they face off against the struggling Florida Panthers. Vegas, leading the Pacific Division at 5-0-2, has yet to lose in regulation and continues to look every bit like a powerhouse contender. Florida, sitting at 4-5-0, can't seem to find its rhythm despite flashes of offensive life. This is the first of 2 meetings between the clubs this season, a true early season test between a team soaring and one searching for answers. Vegas enters this matchup with near perfect balance. They're scoring 4.29 goals per game while allowing just 2.71, among the league's best on both ends. Their special teams are clicking, with a lethal 32.1% power play and a solid 73.7% penalty kill. Florida's numbers tell the opposite story. Just 2.44 goals per game, 3.11 allowed, and a 24.3% power play that has struggled with consistency. The efficiency gap could easily be the difference in this one. Between the pipes, Vegas is expected to start Adin Hill, who's posted a 2.73 GAA and an .888 save percentage. Backup Akira Schmid has been dependable with a .897 save percentage when called upon. Florida counters with Sergei Bobrovsky, still their workhorse, carrying a 2.61 GAA and an .893 save percentage, steady, though not at his peak. With Vegas's offense firing, Bobrovsky will need to be spectacular to keep the Panthers in it. Backup Daniil Tarasov's rough start, 0-2-0 with a 3.08 GAA, has added pressure to Bobrovsky's workload. Offensively, the Golden Knights are humming. Jack Eichel leads the way with 16 points, 6 goals and 10 assists in just 7 games. Pavel Dorofeyev's 7 goals pace the team, 4 of them on the power play, while captain Mark Stone has been the glue, racking up 11 assists and maintaining two-way excellence. For Florida, Brad Marchand has carried much of the offensive burden with 10 points, 5 goals, 5 assists, but the absence of Alexander Barkov and Matthew Tkachuk has left the lineup short on firepower. Without those stars, Florida's attack has struggled to stay consistent. Recent form makes the difference crystal clear. Vegas has dominated its last 5 outings, beating Carolina 4-1, Calgary twice, 6-1, 6-1, 4-2, and Boston 6-5, with their only setback being an overtime loss to Seattle. Florida, on the other hand, has dropped 3 of its last 5, including a 5-3 defeat to Pittsburgh and a 3-0 shutout in Buffalo. Their only bright spot came in a gritty 4-3 win over Boston. The Panthers' undisciplined play, totaling 84 penalty minutes, most in the league, has cost them repeatedly. In the standings, Florida sits at 8 points, 4 behind Montreal for the division lead, while Vegas clings to a 2-point edge over Seattle atop the Pacific. For the Panthers, this isn't just about standings, it's about saving their early season. For Vegas, it's a chance to cement themselves as elite with another statement win. The injury list tilts heavily in Vegas's favor. Florida's is brutal. Captain Alexander Barkov, out since April, Matthew Tkachuk, expected back in December, Tomas Nosek, also December, and defenseman Dmitry Kulikov out until March. Vegas, by contrast, is fully healthy, a rare luxury that's fueled their early dominance. The X factors will come down to transition speed and goaltending. Vegas thrives on counterattacks, led by Eichel and Stone, turning turnovers into high-danger chances within seconds. Florida needs depth forwards like Sam Reinhart and Carter Verhaeghe to chip in timely goals if they want to stay close. Bobrovsky's ability to weather the early storm will dictate whether this is a close contest or another Vegas rout. Expect the Golden Knights' depth, balance, and special teams to carry the day once again. Florida will show energy at home, but their depleted roster and penalty issues are likely too much to overcome. Prediction: Vegas 4, Florida 2. My pick for this matchup: the Vegas Golden Knights. The Columbus Blue Jackets head to Pittsburgh to take on a surging Penguins squad in a key Metropolitan Division battle, marking the first of 4 meetings this season. Pittsburgh, 6-2-0 with 12 points and tied for second in the division, is riding a 3-game win streak. Columbus, at 3-4-0, sits 7th with 6 points, still searching for consistency. For the Penguins, it's a chance to keep pace with the division's top teams. For the Blue Jackets, it's a chance to prove they can hang with the big boys. Goaltending could be the difference. Columbus alternates between Jet Greaves, who's 1-2-0 with a 2.04 GAA and 8.928 save percentage, and Elvis Merzlikins, who's 2-1-0 with a 2.69 GAA and 8.927 save percentage. Both have been bright spots despite uneven team results. Pittsburgh counters with one of the league's steadiest tandems, Tristan Jarry at 3-1-0 with a 2.52 GAA and .921 save percentage, and Artur Silovs at 3-1-0 with a 2.26 GAA and .919 save percentage. Together, they've anchored a defense allowing just 2.38 goals per game. Offensively, the Penguins' stars are buzzing. Yevgeny Malkin leads with 12 points, 2 goals and 10 assists, driving a power play that's converting at 33.3%. Sidney Crosby has 6 goals on 12 shots, still lethal around the crease, while Jake Guentzel's two-way play keeps their attack flowing. For Columbus, Kirill Marchenko has been a bright spot with 7 points, 5 goals, 2 assists, while Boone Jenner adds leadership and 4 assists. The issue is depth. Columbus's secondary scoring has been missing. Their power play sits at 20%, a clear disadvantage against Pittsburgh's sharp special teams. The recent form says it all. Pittsburgh has won 4 of its last 5, rolling through Florida 5-3, Vancouver 5-1, and San Jose 3-0, with their lone blemish coming against Anaheim. Columbus, meanwhile, was humbled in a 5-1 loss to Washington after back-to-back wins over Dallas and Tampa Bay. The Blue Jackets' biggest challenge remains consistency: flashes of quality one night, struggles the next. Injury-wise, Columbus is missing Miles Wood, lower body, while Pittsburgh is without Bill Zanin, Rooter McGorty, and Kevin Hayes. Still, the Penguins' veteran depth allows them to roll 4 reliable lines, something Columbus can't yet match. In the division picture, the Penguins are chasing New Jersey for the top spot, while Columbus is trying to escape the basement. Execution will decide this one. If Marchenko can find space and Merzlikins stands tall, Columbus could keep things interesting. But Pittsburgh's structure, special teams, and discipline should take over. Expect Malkin and Crosby to dictate tempo, Jarry to stay steady in net, and the Penguins' experience to shine through. Prediction: Pittsburgh 4, Columbus 2. My pick for this matchup: the Pittsburgh Penguins. Out west, the Los Angeles Kings visit the Nashville Predators in what looks like a coin flip matchup. Both teams sit at 3-3-2, each trying to build consistency in the early season. The Kings are tied for fifth in the Pacific, the Predators fifth in the Central, and both are coming off much-needed wins, Los Angeles edging Dallas 3-2 in overtime and Nashville holding off Vancouver 2-1. This one feels like a tone setter for two clubs trying to find rhythm. Between the pipes, expect a goaltending duel. Darcy Kuemper has been solid for the Kings with a 2-2-1 record, a 2.59 GAA, and 8.896 save percentage. For Nashville, Juuse Saros remains the rock, 3-2-2 with a 2.53 GAA and 8.911 save percentage, once again proving his reliability. With both teams averaging under 3 goals per game, the Kings at 2.63 and the Predators at 2.38, every rebound and power play could swing the game. Adrian Kemp leads the way for Los Angeles with 11 points, 4 goals and 7 assists, his chemistry and speed driving the Kings' attack. Nashville counters with veteran Ryan O'Reilly, who's posted 5 points, 3 goals, 2 assists while anchoring the Preds' two-way game. On the back end, Roman Josi's puck movement and 4 assists give Nashville an edge on the power play, especially against a Los Angeles penalty kill struggling at 68.6%. The Predators' own penalty kill, at 89.3%, has been one of the league's best. Both teams have been up and down lately, each going 2-3 in their last 5. The Kings' defense has allowed 3.25 goals per game, often cracking late, while Nashville has alternated wins and frustrating losses. Injuries continue to shape both rosters. Los Angeles is missing captain Anze Kopitar, expected back October 28, along with defensemen Angus Booth and Kyle Burroughs, day-to-day. Nashville is without winger Jonathan Marchessault, day-to-day, and defenseman Nicholas Hague, IR, trimming their depth at both ends. In the standings, both are within striking distance of playoff contention but can't afford prolonged slumps. The Kings trail Vegas by 4 points, while Nashville is trying to keep pace with Colorado and Winnipeg. Expect a physical, defense-first game where structure and special teams make the difference. Kemp's finishing touch and Kuemper's composure will be key for LA, while Saros's rebound control and Josi's playmaking could tilt it Nashville's way. It has all the makings of a tight, low-scoring contest that may need extra time. Prediction: Nashville 3, Los Angeles 2 in overtime. The Predators' structure, home ice edge, and Saros's poise give them the slight edge. My pick for this matchup: the Nashville Predators. And that's going to wrap it up for today's NHL breakdowns. If you enjoyed the analysis or picked up a few insights, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss any of our daily picks and previews. Let me know in the comments who you're riding with tonight, and as always, bet smart, play responsibly, and I'll catch you in the next one.